Hey, Max. So glad I found you. I've been looking all over for you. We got to go. We got an interview to do.
Well, hold on, Curse, man. It's snack time.
Okay, but Max, how many times have I got to tell you? We can't eat in the studio and we have an interview to do. We got to go. Come on.
Wait, no. It's snack time.
Okay. But again, we can't eat in the studio and we have an interview to do. We got to go.
Exactly, with the band Snacktime.
Oh, right. Got it.
Exactly, man. And we're going to talk all about their early days playing in Rittenhouse Square in Philadelphia, their upcoming show at Boston Calling, and their brand new single, Sunshine.
Citywide Blackout starts right now.
Welcome to Citywide Blackout with your hosts, Max Bowen and Curtis Hughes. With years of experience in journalism, music, and entertainment business, they put their knowledge to work, bringing you the best in-depth, fun, and sometimes outrageously bizarre interviews with authors, musicians, and many other creators from around the world. With the right amount of gusto and a few F-bombs thrown in for emphasis, you're sure to have a good time. So put up your feet, grab a beverage, and let's go.
All right, Sam. So let's begin with the big news that Snacktime is going to be playing at the upcoming Boston Calling on May 25th. Now, we've spoken to some other BC bands in the past, Battle Mode and Nate Perry and Ragged Company, but how did this whole thing come together?
You know, we have an amazing booking agent, TBA agency. Our booking agent, Ryan Craven, is amazing, and he's been able to really connect us with lots of cool people. Our management also has great connections to lots of amazing bookers. And so I think it's a little bit of a hard work situation where we've been busting our butts at these festivals and also the hard work of our team. So we're super lucky and always glad to come back to Boston.
Definitely. And is this a band's first time playing at Boston Calling?
Yeah, first time at Boston Calling.
Okay, I love that answer because we always like talking to like bands about their like new experiences. So what's it like to know that that you're gonna be like on stage at one of the biggest shows in Boston?
I mean, it's always so cool getting to play these festivals, especially like typically as an early card band is like it's cool. It's kind of this like a way to prove yourself, and especially like I feel like the people who do come early, the people who do come to see the early bands are sort of like the crowd who they want to take a chance on music. Like I know these days are long as hell, and you want to see the headliner, which I completely understand, but to come earlier in the middle of the day, and we're somewhere in the early to middle part of the day, and to come check out some bands you might not know, to me is the coolest part about a music festival. And I used to do that when I was a kid, and we're super excited just to play in front of hopefully some old Boston fans, some new Boston fans, and just show everybody what we're about.
Yeah. I've actually been to Boston Calling once before, back when they did this outside of City Hall, and it's a very different experience. I mean, this was back when they only had like 2 stages. It was still kind of like newish, but what an experience seeing the vibe of the crowd and just being among all this like love for music.
It's really cool. You know, there's these festivals are not cheap, and they're not, always the easiest thing, but the people who come are true music lovers and super ingratiated and super grateful for the people who do support in these large ways.
Now, Sam, what can the audience and the concert goers at Boston Calling expect from you guys, Snacktime, during your set at the show? What kind of a treat are we in for?
Anytime Snacktime comes to any performance, we're coming to bring the most energy. We want to give the most energy, the most fun experience possible. We are coming with all gas, no brakes. You're gonna hear funk music. You're gonna hear some rock. We want you to feel the joy and the love that we are bringing to radiate out from the stage to the audience. So just like an unabashed 45 minutes of good feelings and fun and community and togetherness and letting your guard down just to kind of enjoy yourself. That's kind of what we're trying to make everyone feel.
That is what every artist is trying to make the audience feel when they go step on that stage. That's awesome. I love
I hope
it.
so. I kind of like when the crowd when the bands also antagonize them. Like they're like,
Yep. Let me ask you this then: what bands are you guys most looking forward to seeing here on the show?
it's a good question. We have a lot of friends playing.
Okay,
Let me actually.
let's go. Name drop.
I am super excited to see Fall Out Boy. That's like one of my longtime oldest bands that I loved as a kid, and I never have seen them. And I love that they've been bringing back some of the older music, and I'm super excited. And someone who's on our team, she's kind of like assistant TM and helps with our content. She's like the world's largest Fall Out Boy fan in the world, and I mean that.
Mhm.
So it'll be really cool to see them. Vampire Weekend's gonna be amazing. Remy Wolf, we're big fans of. She's like a dynamo, and I think that we would be brother sister bands in another time, because I think that we are just very much on the same kind of tip, live speaking live. It's gonna be amazing to see Tom Morello as well. He's a big inspiration to myself, and we actually have had a chance to when we were out with Portugal the Man do a bunch of covers of Killing in the Name. So it's gonna be
Nice.
cool to see what he does. And I know he doesn't play those songs with his solo stuff, but I'm looking forward to seeing his solo project.
I love that you had the list like all like ready to go. We're gonna see them and them and them and them because you can't.
Oh well, listen, it's like these festivals are like you know, we're lucky in the sense that this is a drive date for us. It's not far. So if we're gonna go and we have the time to enjoy ourselves, we want to go and see these bands, because to be this level of band and to continue to raise our production value, to continue to raise our everything about us, we have to study. And these guys have been doing it either for a short time or a long time, and to see it live is really important. So
All right, so let us turn back the clock a bit to when Snack Time first began, because I know that you guys got your start in Philly, and as someone who has been there multiple times to visit friends who lived there for a very, very little bit, I loved the scene in Philly. My question to you, Sam, is how is it for you to kind of be a part of this music scene, and what would you say kind of makes it like stand out?
I am technically an import to the Philadelphia music scene because I'm from Florida, but I've been in Philly for 13 years. I'm now a proud flag carrying Philadelphian through and through. Philadelphia music scene is so cool. And one thing I've always said about the fans and the musicians is they're so proud to be from Philadelphia. And you wouldn't know it, but a lot of these bands you see that have these big LA bands, these big New York bands, a lot of the times these guys are coming from Philly. These musicians are coming from Philly. And Philadelphians are really proud and occasionally crass and a little bit chip on their shoulder, if you know what I mean. But they're a really typically genuine, honest, and loving community that's very proud of its exports. Like Snack Time is a Philadelphia band, and the fans of the music and people within the community are so proud that they have a band like us that are out here. You know, we're out here repping Philadelphia. We're not just like a band that comes from a Philly. We're just a band that comes from Philly. We are like a Philadelphia band.
I love that. I love that. And I saw that the band began in the summer of 2020, which, man, you guys must like a challenge, because that was certainly a tough year for music in general. And you actually got started doing free shows in Rittenhouse Square. What was it like to kind of be there for the first time in front of like the city of Philly and playing?
I mean, the thing is, Snack Time really started as a response into COVID. Like
Yep.
I had been doing this thing called Clarion Call for Justice, which was like anti-racist, anti-police brutality, voters' rights brass rallies, which was like the first time anyone had been out. Like it was very masked up. We were also playing lots of brass instruments, and that was cool. Previous to that, I had an event called Snack Time in which I put on with a friend, and she then hit us up when outdoor dining restrictions loosened up. And this was actually after Clarion had kind of, in a way, whittled down a bit. So we wanted to play some music, but there was really no way to do it in a way that was like inside because, COVID. So she was like, "Hey, I would love to have some live entertainment." So I'm like, "Okay, like the perfect thing for that's a brass band." So in the time, I had up a bunch of the guys and we just like started playing, and like we were like, "This is fun." And it wasn't like this fat payday where we're like, "Oh my God, like we're in the money now." Like, we were making a little bit of money here and there, but like it was just the ability to like not only play with people, but to get out in front of real audiences. Like we had been coming from endless Instagram and YouTube and Facebook videos where it was like you were recording your part and they spliced your video together, and it was just like to play for real people was amazing, and to see the reactions, like that visceral, tangible feeling of excitement, had us keep going. So it's very, very quickly turned into a couple times a week at varying parks, and then almost like unofficial residency at this park called Rittenhouse Square. I wouldn't even call it unofficial. We were there all the time, but that turned into people saying, "Hey, I want to have you for my birthday. Hey, I want to have you for my wedding. Hey, I want to have you for my divorce party. Hey, I want to have you for my funeral. Hey," like whatever. And it just that rolled into weddings, which rolled into corporate events, which rolled into the Sixers halftime show, which then rolled into festivals. And like, so it's like that's how in Philadelphia was just so happy to have us. And we truly, for we were kind of like the only music happening. We were all outside. And so then we started there, and then we started taking it more seriously when we started playing these larger festivals. And we're like, hey, like we should write some music. So that was like a year and a half in. We started our journey writing original music, and it's always transforming. Now it's like the band as it is now, it's like we're not out there like playing like pop covers. We're playing full sets of original music. We have an album recorded, we have an EP recorded, we have probably 2 albums worth of music ready to be recorded. So it's like we've really took this platform, which was built upon like people's enjoyment, and been able to leverage that and have people trust in our live and recorded music of our original stuff. And the goal is to have people shout in those words, in the next couple of years, and next year, and next couple months, who knows? But we're super excited about the journey.
I'll bet. And you have listed quite a few things that you played in Philly. Did you ever get to play for the Eagles?
We have done some stuff associated with the Eagles. We never played like the halftime show there. We were on Jason Kelsey's late night show. We were the band on ESPN. So we were like Jason Kelsey's like house band for his show. They call it late night. And we were like the music producers of it. And we were on ESPN for every Friday in January. That was really fun. But we've never played like the Eagles halftime show or anything like that. We've done stuff for the Phillies, the Union, the Sixers.
You haven't played the Eagles halftime show yet.
Exactly.
It's going to happen. We put it out there.
I will be very surprised if it doesn't.
Exactly. See, I love that. I love the confidence.
You have to be confident. You have to believe in yourself.
And Sam, from those humble beginnings over at Rittenhouse Square, you guys also then went on to, sell quite an impressive number of tickets for your first live performance. I believe it was around 900 plus.
Yeah.
How was that? What was going through your guys' head? How was the crowd? I mean,
it's funny that too. I don't even know where you would have found that, but I love that you did. It was really cool, but honestly, we had no fear because it was before we really knew much about like the industry or promoters and like what it means to undersell a show. Like we didn't know. It was like, hey, we want to do a show at a venue. And shout out to Pete Shapiro and our friend Paul Backer, who were the ones to really take a chance on us and say, hey, we want you to play. We opened up the Brooklyn Bowl in Philly, and then like they're like, we want you to have your own headlining show. And it's funny, in the world of radius clauses and stuff in 2022, a week before our headlining show, our album release show, we did another show for the 4th of July. And it was like a show we put on self-produced called Funk on Front. And it was like all day long, four bands, a bunch of different food people. And we sold 750 tickets at $35 each for that too. So it was like we in a week sold 1,600 tickets, odd tickets or whatever. So it was like this crazy thing where it's this amazing feeling of like, in everything we've done has built this confidence to allow us to keep going, because it's hard. It's really hard for especially bands that maybe don't have that positive feedback where it's like you're doing great. So for us to just right off the rip, our first 2 ticketed shows, like to sell amazingly in a row, was like a really amazing thing. And it felt great. It felt super validating.
That's awesome. Now, you also talked about some of the highlights that you guys have had as well. But I'm also curious to know about the growth of the band and how it has evolved over the time since you first started in 2020 to now as we approach Boston Calling.
You sound so much like Howard Stern. It's crazy.
You know,
Um,
I never thought about it, but he's dead right, Curtis. You do sound like Howard Stern. You've got that same,
Not sure
like,
how to take that, but okay.
no,
Thank you.
it's a
no,
compliment. It's a
he's one of
compliment.
the greatest interviews of all time. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
Um,
know.
No, I think that's actually a really good point. You do have that same, it's hard to describe the voice, but you do have a very similar voice to Stern. So hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So the other highlights of the band leading up to Boston Calling, I mean, we were on tour with Portugal the Man for a good amount of last year. We were on tour with them through most of the country, and then we did a whole run of amphitheaters with them. We have done South by Southwest and really made a big impact there a couple times in a row. It's hard to keep track. Like we've recorded so much new music and we've played these amazing festivals. To think we would have gotten them. See, people always ask me like, "Did you ever think this would be possible?" I didn't even. It wasn't even a dream. Like I couldn't have even dreamt it. So it's like it feels even crazier to think that. It's like We're playing Roots Picnic this year. We're playing Boston Calling this year. We're playing Newport Folk Festival this year. So it's like everything feels like it's constantly some sort of amazing surprise or highlight. It's always happening, and we went from this year we went directly from a great show for New Year's Eve at Brooklyn Bowl to playing on ESPN for a month. To like we've had a great placement with Taco Bell in a national commercial. Like there's so many great blessings that we've had. This isn't meant to be like self pat on the back, but I'm just so proud of everything we've been able to do and to continue to do.
Absolutely. And how has the music evolved since the beginnings of 2020 until now, since, past few years of your ride here?
So much. I mean, we started in the streets playing covers, and then we all went to jazz school. So, we would start to improvise, and then this improvisations would turn into songs. And some people would start to say, "Hey, I wrote this song," or I'd be like, "I wrote this song," which then turned into our first album called Sounds from the Street Live, which is a complete live recording. We did 3 days in a studio, 150 people a night, food, drink, collaborations, live album recording with video recording. It was awesome. And that was like much more on the tip of like where we had been in 2022, which is like heavy horn arrangements, heavy emphasis on improvisation and less about the vocals. To the following years, we started to really think about writing songs because we were playing these festivals and like people were like, "You guys are cool, but you need songs." So we worked with an amazing producer named Will Yip, who is an incredible producer in the punk rock and post punk and emo world. And we wanted to do a little bit of like see what it was like to work with something like that. So we wrote in our first EP, which is This Is Dance Music. And that was awesome. And now we're working even harder on with different producers on more songs that really make a difference to people. So it's like in 2022, you would have seen the whole band and everyone would just had one horn, we had a guitar, and we had drums. But now our trumpet player plays guitar, the alto player is the singer, the tenor player now plays like an affected saxophone. I'm playing more bass than anything. I'm playing bass and key bass, and the tuba is still very much a part of it. But like you might hear it and think this isn't like a brass band. Like you think now it's like this is any band that you'd see at Boston Calling, and we're just mostly concerned with like writing hits and making people feel good.
And speaking of hits, let's talk about your most recent release, Sunshine. Currently clocking it at well over 230,000 streams on Spotify alone, which is, wow, man, holy smokes. It's really, really big.
Yeah.
Love this song. I love the vibe of it.
Great song.
The whole like positivity about it. But what's the story behind Sunshine?
Thank you for noticing. I know for some people that might not seem like a lot, but we've had that in 2 weeks, and for that to happen for us is like the streaming game's not always the easiest, but we're super blessed to have received some really great playlisting, and it's a great song. And the song kind of started as like I woke up and I wanted to write a love song for my girlfriend, and I started the basis of it, and like she would like listen to me write it, and then I brought it to the band, and it went through many different iterations. Then we had a friend come in and sort of help us rewrite some of the lyrics and sort of restructure how the song goes, and it sort of just became what it is. And like it's a song that I hear it on the large festival stages. I hear it as an anthem. I hear it as a summer banger, and it's a love song, but it's also sort of like the uncomfortable parts of love where it's not easy and maybe it's you're not beautiful and young, and it's the parts where like the hard parts of love where you really are going to stick with this person, and that whole like through sickness and health, that whole like through better or worse thing. It's like we always say that we know, but I don't think everyone does. So it's a lot about that too. It's about both sides of the real side of love.
As it becomes more long term, there's going to be problems. There's going to be roadblocks. There's going to be like tough times. And yeah, you're right. It is about sticking through. Like that's how you know if this person is like the one for you, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to ask about the band's sound because you guys have a real wide range of sounds here. Of course, like first off, this is a 7-piece band, so this is not a small collection here. How would you say the different sounds come together? How does it all kind of like fuse to make the great music of Snack Time?
The music is informed by everyone's personal experience growing up. We have Earth, Wind, and Fire. We have Prince. We have D'Angelo. We have, there's some aspects of like hardcore in there. There's some aspects of like pop in there. It's everyone comes from a different place. And I think like through meeting more people, but also having the experience of learning from different kinds of people, it's music to move to, it's music to have fun to, but we're leaning into like a funk, soul, rock sound, and it is 7 people. It definitely is, and you hear that. Like it's a lot of music. It's a lot of love that goes into it. It's a lot of passion. So
You mentioned the hardcore part. I got that in some of these songs. There was definitely some more like intense, like power songs. And yeah, I
yeah,
definitely kind of got like the hardcore leanings.
yeah. It's funny. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but like I said before, we've done covers of "Killing in the Name" where I step out from behind the bass or the tuba and I go sing it, and it's like I get to like I've been in punk bands and ska bands my whole life, so I was a singer of a punk band for a while. So like to get out from behind the instrument and like go a little crazy is something I love to do. But yeah, there's so much inspiration in all these musics. There's so much aesthetic inspiration as well as just like sonic, and it's really cool.
Yeah. When it comes to actually writing the songs, does someone usually like take the lead on this one, or is it more like someone will come and say, "Hey, I have this idea," and just kind of like go from there?
It's sort of in between that. It's like a lot of the times the songs start with like a primary writer, and one of us will say, "Hey, I wrote this song. Here's the form, here's the lyrics," and then we present it, and then it sort of like slowly molds into like, because the way that Austin plays drums, he's incredible, and the way that he plays drums is you can't replicate that by sampling by. So it's like you have this loose framework of like, here's the form of the song, here's what it should roughly sound like, here's some inspiration, now you take it, and then you give that, and then Larry lays some parts down, we all sort of work together. So the songs become songs, I think, through one or two people sometimes, but then it becomes a snack time song once we all touch it.
Now, I got to know, Sam, this group is not your usual, 3-piece, 4-piece like rock band. This is a large group. When coming up with the idea of putting this all together, did you originally have envisioned in your mind's eye this was going to be a 5, 6, 7 person sort of band? How did we get to the point of the having that many people in here, and how did you guys all meet?
Yeah, so the way that we all met was actually just by like being in the Philadelphia music scene. I met Austin, the drummer, through my college roommate, who's an amazing bass player. You say he and I, with along with Austin, were on the same gig in Philly. It was my first gig in Philly. They were all members of another band, and just like that Philadelphia music community thing of everyone sticking together wound up making it all make sense. And to have 7 people doesn't necessarily always make it easier, but I love the community aspect of it. And Ben, my best friend, and we've known each other since we were 15. To have him alongside people who I've only known for, well, I guess now I've known them almost 6, 7 years at this point, but because the band's almost 5 years old, which is crazy to me. But to have like the old and the new and people who've known me through my whole life, it's really cool to have this going, and it's a really unique thing to have that many opinions and aspects and thoughts about music, and it creates a really cool thing, and I think that's why we're so unique.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you guys, when you first started out, obviously you're doing everything yourself. Maybe one person's booking, another person's, writing, the copy for the social media posts and what have you. But at some point, you guys had to light bulb kind of had to go off. Like we had to do this more efficiently. We had to, we have to get more better organized, and that's where having other great partners come in, like management and things like that. How did you actually get hooked up with management that you're currently with now to start getting you, gigs and whatnot that you guys have been getting?
So the one thing I will say is that I will say that I think that a big attraction for our management was the fact that me alongside Ben, and Ben is the guy I mentioned earlier. He and I really kept it very tight in the beginning. It was us. Like Ben had to become an accountant
Hmm.
because we were lucky enough to get a lot of events. So like Ben had to. He's a music school kid like all of us. He like became an accountant basically,
Right.
and we like kept everything pretty organized, and like we ran it as much as we ran like a band where like you know we're here to play music whatever. We also did run it like a business because like this was a situation that was also happened to be something that was paying our bills, which is a blessing. But so I think that the fact that we were buzzing so hard and had such a large foothold in Philadelphia allowed us to approach some people that we might not have been if we were just like, oh, we're a band. So like all things that I do, if I need something, I post on Instagram, like whether it's a chair, kind of shoe, or a cup of sugar, or a manager, I posted on Instagram. And then we had a mutual friend that was like, hey, these guys aren't necessarily managers, but they're really good in the business. And they're this really cool team called the Syndicate, which are they mostly work in marketing, but we're one of their I think sole managed bands. And they had been in the management business previously with other cool bands, but they took a chance on us and they consulted with us for a while, and then we officially became together in early 2023. And it's been really cool to delegate some of those tasks to the management to allow us to kind of like write music and like to be a band and to not have to worry about all that. So that's been really cool. And then our management was able to help us find our booking agent, which was able to help us find our lawyer, which was able to help us find our business manager. So it's like once it's kind of the weird thing is like with the music industry, sometimes you have to be in to get in, or sometimes you have to get in to be in rather. So we are super lucky and grateful, but it sort of starts to roll once the stuff starts going. You meet all the people you need to meet, and we're so grateful for the team that we have.
One thing that we talk a lot about is how artists have to kind of be their own everythings. They have to be their own like booking agent, their own social media person, so forth. But when you have the right team, it takes things to a whole like another level. So it's really good that you guys have had that because clearly you have benefited from this. Let's swing back to talking about shows because we've talked about Boston Calling, we've talked about your early days in Philly. You got some great shows coming up. One in particular that kind of caught Curtis and I's eye is that in August you're gonna be playing with Fitz and the Damn Tantrums along with Neil Francis at the rooftop at Pier 17 in New York. Everyone knows Fitz and the Tantrums. Come on. I mean, amazing band. How'd you connect with these guys, and what's it going to be like, do you think, to play with them?
We are so hyped. I've been familiar with their music for a long time, and they have these just timeless hits at this point. Like they're songs that will stand the test of time, and that's another classic. Our team is great. We had the benefit of being on that amazing tour with Portugal the Man to show people that we are a band that could punch above our weight class in some respects. Like, you know, to take a support tour of that size. And I think people recognize that. And it's unreal. I mean, like to be able to play these giant rooms and to really like, once you get them and you can kind of control that room, it's a feeling like no other. And we were so grateful for the experiences that the Portugal Man team gave to us because like when we were on these tours, like there was often times that like we would do these collaborative sets and they would let like myself or one of the other guys in the band like MC the show. So we're having the experience to like be at Red Rocks and directly speak to the crowd and get that feedback, which is like it's a very different thing talking to 10,000 people than talking to 1,000 people or talking. So it's like it's given us that experience, and we're super hyped for the experience with Fitz and Tantrums, and we hope for some collaboration, but mostly just glad to be there. And Neil Francis, so we have some friends who play with him as well sometimes. So we're super excited, and I'm just looking forward to what it might turn into and what it will definitely be, which is fun.
I'll bet. And speaking of fun, you guys have so many festivals lined up. You've got the Roots Picnic, the Ottawa Jazz Festival, many, many more. I imagine that Snack Time really thrives at festivals. It seems like it's the kind of place where you guys just like really like just show your stuff.
We love to come to a festival where people are like, "Who's this band?" and just absolutely like come with like we like to surprise everyone and always because that's the chip on that's the Philadelphia chip on our shoulder. It's like the oh you don't know, okay, let me show you, and not like an arrogant way, but we love to come and be like band number two on the stage, and people like kind of like dawdle in, and then like by the time we're done playing, a couple thousand people have pulled up, and we're like, see you next time a little bit earlier. Because that's what it's about. Like, I mean, like we love to show people what we're about, and we've worked so hard on our sound and our vibe, and we've put so many hours working together. We put so many hours to get this, to make this vibe happen. So we love to exceed expectations at these kind of things. And usually if we know if the promoters in the back of the house, people are like, you guys were the shit, you guys were my favorite band of the day, and we know that that's going around the festival, we know we did a good job because they have to hear a lot of music.
Now, you guys play all over when it comes to the tours. So every place from, your hometown in Philly to Virginia, DC, New Jersey. What's the strategy behind some of the booking? Is it all places that you kind of like want to play? Is it just specifically up to your booking agent and the talent buyers? Like, what's the input there?
It's a little bit of everything. I think that like we take the right experiences when they make sense. And like I said, we're super grateful for our amazing booking agent and our managers to kind of guide us to what makes sense. But we were able to do lots of cool big radio shows in Baltimore and Louisville, and then sometimes we're able to chain that together. And like we know we want to play DC more because it's like a kind of sister market, and we know we want to play New York more. So we kind of take it as it comes to us and just go and really take as many opportunities as we can to just do the thing because that's the best way to do it. Like, not every gig can be opening up for Portugal the Man, but every gig could have the opportunity to be something amazing and to connect to a crowd. So that's something with the Snack Time ethos is that you never know. You really never know which gig. Like we do lots of corporate gigs. We do weddings. Like sometimes the wedding is what leads you. Like the wedding, we played a wedding of a friend, which led into our booking for Jason Kelsey. So it's like we put our heart and soul into every gig we do, whether it's Boston Calling or, somebody's wedding or a corporate gig for a company or playing Brooklyn Bowl for 1,000 people or playing a smaller market for 250 people. It's like we're here to show people a good time and do put our all into this.
And one of the things I love to do when we have musical guests on our program is I like to kind of just pick the brain a little bit. And I'm going to ask just one question. And it's really just for a tip for any of those, starting or maybe even struggling artists or musicians out there. What would you give as a number one tip for building an audience?
First of all, never be too cool for your audience. Never shy away from the experience of getting to connect with these people because they could be anywhere. They could be talking to anyone. They could be doing anything, but they've taken their time out of their day to come see you. So you should respect that. And you should be grateful for that. I think that another thing is don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to want something that may not make sense to you. Don't be afraid to sort of take an opportunity or to ask for an opportunity that you might not be ready for because that's how you get it. Believe in yourself and manifest and go for it. Because if you go in scared, people could smell that. So be compassionate to the people who are supporting you. Take the time to smell the roses and realize that, this is just music and it could be worse, but also like put your nose to the grindstone and work because this shit ain't easy. If you're not working, somebody else is. And if there's one thing about Snack Time, you're going to find it's going to be very hard for you to find a band that's going to outwork us in any aspect. So work hard.
I love that.
Work hard, try your best, and believe in yourself, and just do it. Just keep going.
That is the best advice I've heard in quite some time, and I hope everyone's taking notes because
I love it.
That's big. Well, folks, we're coming down to the end of this conversation. It's flown right by. Sam Gellerstein, of course, thank you so much for talking to us. It's been great to kind of dive into this deep history about Snack Time. To wrap things up, of course, the big question we ask everyone is, what's next for you?
More.
Good answer. Good
More.
answer. I like that.
More music, more tour dates, more touring, more joy, more love, more passion, just maximizing and keep going, because it takes a lot to get to where we want to go, and we have very high aspirations for where we want to go. And the people who believe in us at an early stage, I hope will not be disappointed by where we'll end up going.
Definitely. All right. Well, folks, you've heard a lot of great information. Of course, everything you can find at snacktimephilly.com, shows, music, everything. If you're going to be in Boston towards the end of May, the weekend of the 23rd, go to Boston Calling. See these guys play on the 25th. It's an early show, which is kind of fun. So go and check them out. Many more shows to come. And to wrap this up, we are going to give you guys a listen to Sunshine, the brand new song from the band. And of course, to the folks at home, thank you as always for checking that show out, listening to us, following the socials. I'm your host, Max Bowen.
And I'm Curtis Hughes.
We'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Type of way, feeling so good I want to share it with the world today. You put that fire inside of me. When we're together, all we got is perfect energy. Sun ain't shining, it's not shining, no. Can't shine without you. So when the lightning strikes, it'll be alright. I just need you next to me. When it's freezing cold and we're way too old, there's still sunshine to me. In what world could I deny you? The way you move me drives me crazy with the things you do. Nothing can stand in my way. I just can't wait to see my baby. Sun ain't shining, it's not shining, no. Can't shine without you. So when the lightning strikes, it'll be alright. I just need you next to me. When it's freezing cold and we're way too old, there's still sunshine to me. When the rain pours and the lightning strikes, you're the only one that gets me through the night. Rest assured, babe, it'll be alright. You and me together, baby, by and by. So when the lightning strikes, it'll be alright. I just need you next to me. When it's freezing cold and we're way too old, there's still sunshine to me. Everything will be alright. Need you next to me. In the freezing cold, when we're way too old, still sunshine.
And with that, we bring this episode to a close. Thanks for listening, and if you haven't already, check us out on Facebook under Citywide Blackout, and Twitter and Instagram under Citywide Max. You can catch this and all your favorite episodes on your favorite podcast platform, and new episodes are added every week, as well as on Boston Free Radio every Saturday at 10 p.m. You get at me at citywidemax@yahoo.com if you want to suggest a guest, submit your music, or just drop us a line. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.